It's alive! It's alive! It's Facebook Live from John McIntyre's living room where he likes to refer to himself in the third person when he does live broadcasting on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. What an incredible news day. What an incredible weird day. I know you're all into the Wendy Bell thing. I know many of you think, unfortunately, that she got shit-canned. When I say unfortunately, I mean because that's not true. Wendy Bell did not, in fact, get shit-canned. She got suspended. I'm making a prediction right now. How do I know this prediction might be true? I don't. I'm totally talking out of my ass. I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. I have no good sourcing. I'm being an irresponsible journalist. But I predict she'll be back in 2 to 3 weeks. And later on, I'll tell you why. Let me look at some of the people who are already watching. Linda Bloom, Ernie Martino, Mike Priya, Denise McConnell. Hi, Denise. How are you? If you don't mind, though, I'm going to do what my old friend, reporter from Rhode Island, Sean Daly, used to say, burying the lead. And by burying the lead, I mean I'm not going to talk about Wendy right off the bat. I would like to talk a little bit about the most annoying human in the universe, Donald J. Trump. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have seen this bullshit from the Atlantic magazine, Jeffrey Goldberg. And by bullshit, I mean it proves that Donald Trump is full of shit again and is a piece of shit and has in fact had many things to do with feces, the general area and the concern of feces. In this lengthy article, he quotes numerous sources as saying that Donald Trump thinks of people in the United States military as losers and suckers. Losers and suckers. Let me give you 2 quick anecdotes to illustrate this. He was standing with John Kelly, his former chief of staff, at Arlington National Cemetery, at the grave of the son of John Kelly who died in a recent war, and said to Kelly, I don't understand. What's in it for them? What's in it for them? In other words, what is in it for a United States human being, man or woman, to join the Army? Because it's a selfless act of courage to try to protect and defend the United States of America, and it doesn't pay very well. In other words, if it's not transactional, if there isn't big money in it, why would anyone ever do anything for anybody under any category, under any circumstance, ever? This is the man with zero empathy. So read the article, theatlantic.com, if you want to get into more of that. And remember when he said that I don't like John McCain. I like people who weren't shot down. I like people who weren't shot down. I mean, he's denied the story, and of course he's full of shit and he's lying as he always does. Dawn McBride, the McBrides are in the house. You don't need an apostrophe between McBrides to do McBrides, Dawn. I thought you were the grammarian. Hi, Rita Verola. So the other ridiculous thing, one of 18 million ridiculous things that Donald Trump said was the shooting of Jacob Blake, the African-American gentleman who was shot 7 times in the back in Kenosha, Wisconsin. You know, the cops screwed up. It's like a 3-foot putt. They missed a 3-foot putt. It's like missing a 3-foot putt. In other words, the cops made a mistake by not wrestling him to the ground, and the correct and accurate analogy is, it's like missing a 3-foot putt. That's just so stupid, I'm not even going to comment. That's fucking stupid. By the way, this is the first Facebook Live where we're going to have a live guest, and I don't mean a virtual live guest like those lame-o shows. I mean a live guest right here in the apartment. It's unprecedented. No double box. This guest will be here and I'll be back there asking her questions. So we're, socially distancing and all that shit. What does Trump think of Jesus? I don't know. Jesus, I've seen better gods. I like gods who don't get nailed to the cross. I like gods who don't get nailed. I like gods who escape. I like gods without sandals too. What kind of people wear sandals? Larry Hanlon's watching. Marty Levine Kronsnick. Hi, Johnny Mac. Hi, Mark Dara. All right, we got to keep going because there's a shitload of shit and there's a guest. 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse, as you know, is the young man who came from northern Illinois, went up to Kenosha, Wisconsin, shot and killed 2 people and wounded another. The right-wing batshit crazy people, a.k.a. Wendy Bell and all of her ilk, are defending it as if it is a case of self-defense, which is, of course, bullshit, because what Kyle Rittenhouse did and the kind of violence that Wendy Bell is accused of inciting, not specifically kind of violence she's accused of inciting, which is why she, at least temporarily, she's off the air. He went there, he killed a protester. A guy with a skateboard saw him kill a protester. So the guy with the skateboard's like, I got to stop this guy because it looks like he's killing protesters, and I only have a skateboard, but I'm going to give it a shot. Then he shot and killed the skateboarder. Then he shot and killed 1 more person, or I'm sorry, a total of 2, and then he wounded a 3rd person. The notion that it's self-defense is absolutely fucking ridiculous. These right-wingers make me sick to my stomach. Donald Trump denies having a mini stroke. I'm pretty sure the only mini stroke, I believe him. I believe he doesn't have a mini stroke. I believe he's just generally fucking stupid. I believe the only mini strokes that take place with Donald Trump is when it's playtime with Ivanka. Hi-oh! Trump said, they didn't settle down in Kenosha until we settled Kenosha. we had to send in the Guard and settle Kenosha. He didn't send in the National Guard to Kenosha. The fucking governor sent in the National Guard to Kenosha. What's that called? Another fucking lie. Are you getting the general drift here, the general thread that Donald Trump is a fucking piece of shit and a liar and an asshole? John, your video's not streaming properly. There's not much I can do about that. I don't know why. You know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe it just isn't. Maybe your computer is what's wrong. Did you ever think of that, Buster? Shelley Moore is watching. The other ridiculous thing, or among the many ridiculous things Donald Trump said, is that there's people in the dark shadows controlling Biden. People in the dark shadows are controlling Biden. Does anybody remember the soap opera Dark Shadows from the 70s? Anyway, it's irrelevant. As if just some mysterious, weird figures in the dark shadows, it's pulling a conspiracy theory out of his butt, which is a disgusting place to be in the first place. And people in dark uniforms are on airplanes, and they're getting ready to... Then he wouldn't specify, well, where were the dark people in the airplanes, or the people in dark uniforms? Are they going to D.C. at the Republican Convention? Were they going to another city to attack the Republican Convention? He couldn't specify. It was a Facebook rumor that turned out to be, of course, bullshit. Trump just repeated it because he constantly repeats bullshit conspiracy theories, and there you have it. All right. We'll get to our guest momentarily. We've only killed 6 minutes so far, so we're yammering right ahead. Other people watching. Video Scream is great, says Larry Hanlon. See, I told you, person before, that it was your fault. Love the Facebook Live. Thank you. Greg Roberts. I remember Dark Shadows. John Krebs, you're fucking old like me, older than dirt like me. Barnabas was the main vampire in Dark Shadows. Very good, Lynn Ransom. Isn't it horrible to be old? Okay, Wendy Bell. I don't know Wendy Bell well. When I was still working at KDK Radio as a freelancer, which I have a feeling after today, if I had a chance, I won't be anymore. Just call it a hunch, call it a suspicion, call it an instinct. You know what I mean? Trust your intuition. But we would be phony friendly to one another when we passed each other in the hall or when we passed each other in the studio. Because what am I going to do? Throw down with Wendy Bell? Put him up, fucking Wendy Bell. Come on, come on. Not going to do that. Because she'd probably win. That's a sad truth of the matter. She's a fucking vampire. On June 26th, on KDK Radio, she said this. But it went viral this week. The video of this went viral this week for some reason. It was just like hiding in the internet, and then boom. She said, with regard to, this is my words, with regard to protesters who want to tear down statues. Speaking of those human beings, the quote is, my easy solution for park rangers and hopefully snipers who are hopefully going to be watching for this is to shoot on sight. Shoot. Done. Now that, I probably didn't do it as, you know, Wendy Bell's probably a better fake gunslinger than me, but she actually did go in her video. And not quite as much, but the thing that also scared other people was, at another video that wasn't on the radio but was just one of her videos, said, by the way, the silent majority is pissed and they are armed and they are ready. So don't muck with us, which is obviously a synonym for don't fuck with us. But you can't say fuck on the radio, and you shouldn't say fuck on video if you're a mainstream person with a full-time job, theoretically, unless you're me. The full-time media job is what I'm saying. Wendy Bell is the angel of death. David D'Angelo. David D'Angelo of twopoliticaljunkies.com. If you want a fact check of everything Wendy Bell has ever lied about, go to that's the numeral 2politicalJunkies.blogspot.com. That's twopoliticalJunkies.blogspot.com. Sarah Sachs, Wendy Batshit Bell. Wow, did you just conjure that up in your psychic amazingness, Sarah Sachs? Dan Keller with Wendy, it could have been all shtick to get ratings. Yeah, but I think she means it. I think she's actually batshit. I think she's a right-wing nutbag. Either that or she's the best actress who's ever portrayed a right-wing nutbag ever. I think she means it. The City Paper reports since April, KDK Radio has dropped 3 spots in the Pittsburgh area ratings and was the 5th most listened to station in the region, just ahead of the public station WESA-FM. If you're a big-time 50,000-watt powerhouse, legacy, legendary radio station, the first in the country, 1920, they did the Harding Cox elections. Now you can't even say Harding Cox on the air. How many times have I used that joke? About 5,000. You want to be well ahead of the public radio station, and it's not a good place to be if you're barely ahead of the public radio station. So what I'm wondering about is, if they put up with Wendy's bullshit all this time, because she and Marty, as I understand it, their numbers went way up in April. Well, why did they go up in April? Because when the whole world goes fucking crazy and shuts down and you might get the corona, boogie boogie, You're going to listen to the news talk station instead of DVE for a little while, right? Just to find out who's dying around you. Perhaps mistakenly, these individual radio hosts were thought to have accelerated the ratings themselves by their individual talents, as opposed to people just listen to a news talk station in crisis, because the numbers, to some degree, according to the City Paper, have fallen. Although I heard Mark Madden shut up. Call me on the landline during my freaking Facebook Live. Okay, Boomer. That's true. You'd think I would have. My special guest had just said, okay, Boomer.
Who has a landline?
Who has a landline? You have to have the landline to have the don't you? You have one, you just don't plug it in.
I don't even have a phone.
It's not, but don't you have one as part of the 3 thing in the Verizon?
I pay for the package, but I don't have a phone.
All right. Special guest momentarily.
Millennial special guest.
Millennial special guest. Yes, in the Twitterverse, there are people who know her well, and pretty much you see is what you get. Oh, referring to Wendy Bell. Love the JFK. Thank you very much. I got it from, as a matter of fact, the very special guest of today's program is the one who actually gave me the JFK, which we believe was stolen by her older brother in a school long ago. But that has not been confirmed beyond the shadow of a doubt. The only way she could hope to shave off listeners from Hannity was to go full tilt Alex Jones. That's an interesting theory. All right. I think we can tell the Randy Bish thing later. But don't forget one thing above all else. And let's remember this, and I'll repeat it at the end of the broadcast. Person, woman, man, camera, TV. All right, let's get to the special guest, ladies and gentlemen. She was a co-host of mine and the on-air producer, a failed CBS experiment called The Zone, so she has a little bit of radio experience herself, not to mention being on the Alan Cox Morning Show and a guest on my radio show many times at KDK Radio, back when I used to work there in the late 70s. Wasn't that long ago. She is an incredible comedian, the 3-time winner of the Best Comedian in Pittsburgh Award. She is also an incredible children's performer and goes to schools and does anti-bully comedy/music shows. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up, live in person in my apartment for the lovely and talented Gab Bonesso, everybody. Woo, 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 woo.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me.
You can just look there.
Oh, hi.
I'll interview you from behind.
That's very uncomfortable for me. It feels like prison.
All right. Well, you don't have to.
I'm kidding.
I've
never been in prison. Hi, Maria.
Oh, by the way.
My sister said the school was abandoned that my brother took Kennedy from. And my mom was a big Kennedy fan, so that's why.
We now have a conspiracy theory as to where the Kennedy thing came from and whether or not it was in fact stolen.
Yes, it was abandoned. It was found material. Hi, Patrick.
This is great because instead of me, just a sec, I'll just do this for a second, squinting like a boomer, Gab can actually read the damn comments without me squinting like a boomer. So this will be good. So,
and I'm using my own eyes.
You
have no contacts.
Yes, but you don't have to read them all, but as you see fit.
Okay, yeah, I have ADHD,
you know
so I should not look. Okay.
No, it's okay with me. I just mean don't or do depending on your whim.
Okay, thank you.
How are you coping? And I'm only shouting because I'm further away from the camera. Yeah. It's not because I'm a boomer, so shut up.
Coping? I'm surviving. I'm surviving. I'm, honestly, because of all my mental health issues, I think I was better prepared for a global pandemic than most. I've dealt with a lot of trauma throughout my life, so I'm doing okay. I'm in a fetal ball most nights. I'm not sleeping. I'm working out, not really eating, but I'm doing great. I'm doing great, John. Thank you so much for asking. I need a therapist, but other than that.
Now, you worked in the world of radio where a lot of creepy men roam the hallways.
You?
Possibly myself included.
Right here, this creepy man. Yeah.
Do you have any particular take on the Wendy Bell controversy?
Oh, man. Okay, so first of all, I do want to say 2 things about words that are being used to describe Wendy and words being used to describe Trump. They're not crazy, they're evil. I'm crazy. They're evil. There is a difference. Don't label the evil people as crazy. Now, Wendy, here's the deal. I don't know if she started off as evil, but I think when she lost her job, she was sort of like, well, this is the only brand I have now, so I've got to run with it. And this was like her way to make money and be famous, but you don't get to tell people to murder other people. That's just not cool. So I understand why she's no longer on the air. I just, I don't like to revel in other people's misery. It's not, it's not my thing. But hi, everyone who keeps saying hi, and I'm trying to answer his question and read with ADHD. Oh, I'm crazy. Goodness. Hi, Greg. I'm crazy, too. I'm way crazy.
My easy solution is for park rangers and hopefully snipers who are hopefully going to be watching for this is to shoot on sight. Shoot. Done. What is she, fucking Matt Dillon? She fucking Al Capone? How many people is she fucking, for Christ's sake? Kidding. What? What's it say?
Patrick Katina says Gab is the best, a class act, especially with her anti-bullying show. You need to get Trump to the show. You're right, Patrick. I've been trying. I had this weird goal in the beginning of them being elected that his wife, who wanted to end cyberbullying, would like bring me into the White House and I would help Trump become a human. But I don't even know if he's human, and that's things we're gonna have to decide.
By the way, should we call this segment "Talking Behind Your Back"? Does that work?
That works.
I mean, you're in the Pittsburgh comedy community. You're used to people talking behind your back. This is nothing
Yeah,
new.
yeah. No, it's yeah. And I hear voices. So.
What is your take on all the Trump shit that I was talking about, or any other Trump shit that you happen to fancy to comment on?
I mean, when it comes to Trump, I've always said this, like, so as a comedian, I identify as an absurdist, and then when Trump was elected, I couldn't be absurd. Like, absurdity died. There's no chance to be absurd, because the things that he does, how about he tells people to vote twice? How about that one?
Yes.
Encouraging people to vote twice. It's maddening. I mean, it's...
You fill out the ballot, you fill out the mail-in ballot, and then you show up at your polling place and see if they let you vote. If they let you, you go ahead and vote, and if they don't, then you don't do it. Now, it's illegal and it's a felony to vote twice, but don't worry about it. Just tell them the president said it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're working with here. And like the crazy depiction of Joe Biden, like this tale, like Joe Biden is a communist. Joe Biden. It's like Joe Biden is a nice kid from Scranton. I mean, I know he's 90, but the point is, he's a good guy.
But his dark shadows are controlling him. Dark shadows.
The plane full of... I mean, is that right? Not of, like, Hitler's, like, playbook? Like, there's these scary, shadowy figures, and they're coming to get you, and they're going to take over your homes and your suburbs. I mean, it's crazy. Trump is racist. That's a fact. We cannot have a racist president if we want to achieve equality, which was what we all claimed we wanted when we founded this country. So it is time to get rid of the racists. Thank you very much.
Now, here is a thing from Randy Bish, who is a former cartoonist at the Tribune Review regarding Wendy Bell.
Okay.
He writes on Facebook, "Karma comes to KDKA." He didn't write, but, you know. On the evening of Thursday, June 4th, 2020, at approximately 10 p.m., it began. Private messages started popping up on my Facebook page. Suddenly, the trickle became a flood. Nasty messages. Many of them were threats. Imagine my shock when people were suddenly accusing me of threatening to burn down a lady's home, killing her and her husband and 5 children. The lady in question was radio talk show host Wendy Bell. She posted this message on Facebook, quote, "When you disagree with the left, they threaten to burn your house down. This is a political cartoonist at the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. This man threatening to burn down my house and kill my husband. He's threatening me and my 5 sons because he disagrees with me. Tell me how funny that is." So in other words, Wendy Bell was accusing this former cartoonist of threatening to kill her and her sons. So she put that on Facebook. So then Randy Bish writes, "People were threatening to come to my home and share my address online so more of an angry lynch mob could kill me. I grabbed a few clothes and we went into hiding for a few days. Suddenly I was being called an arsonist and a terrorist by the angry mob that had been stirred up by the false accusation posted online by Wendy Bell." All right, I'm going to cut to the chase here. To this day, Ms. Bell has not contacted me to offer any form of apology for the firestorm she started with her defamatory and libelous remarks. I applaud KDK Radio for taking the steps to ensure that her words and actions may never jeopardize the safety of another innocent person again. I would think that Randy Bish deserves an apology.
I would agree with that. I would agree. Although I feel like it's all of this hostility is what I hate about everything right now. Everyone is like fighting at this just like rabid level, and it's like she's accusing him of fake things, and I just hate it. I hate
No,
everything.
the world is horrible right now.
Yeah, it's really rough. It's rough.
Even if you think you're on the right side,
Right.
it's still horrible.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much anger, and we're not able to communicate at all. And not that I think we can communicate with the Wendy Bells of the world, but although I will say I feel like I was part of her, like, when she, like, came to Pittsburgh, I was on the Alan Cox Morning Show, and I was making fun of her. I was, like, basically saying she made up her name. I was like, that's totally a fake name. You know she made it up. She's clearly a J.M. Barrie fan. How clever. Takes Wendy. Takes Belle from Tinker. Well done, Wendy. And then she called in and, like, became part of the morning crew and, like, would call it. So, like, I feel like I was part of her when she was, like, growing in the town. I never saw this coming. I never saw her encouraging people to shoot each other. That's just never okay.
It's funny. I got a text from Alan Cox just yesterday.
And what did it say?
And he says, like, "What's up with Wendy Bell?" But I don't think I'm supposed to share the rest of it.
Oh, boy.
Because I didn't clear it in
That was
advance.
off the record.
So I'm not going to do that.
Off the record,
It's
John.
okay to say what's up with Wendy Bell.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, what is up with Wendy Bell?
I don't know. No comment from Wendy Bell.
Yeah, she wasn't on her Twitter feed today.
By the way, I miss my old colleagues in KDKA. I personally have nothing against the management. They let me work there. They brought me back in 2013 after like a 5-6 year absence, and I got to hang out till 2018, and they never censored me. And I miss some of my old colleagues. Some of those old colleagues are fucking pissed about all this, though. I talked to them earlier this week before this all blew up.
Yeah.
Oh, there is tension in the... Well, a lot of people are working from home, but if they were in the hallways, there would be tension in the hallways in Green Tree. At this,
Yeah,
at the
well,
studios.
I'm disappointed in one of your old colleagues, so there
Are
you
you?
have it. Yeah.
Are you going to reveal that? You don't have to.
I will reveal it. I'm very
Oh.
disappointed in Marty Griffin.
I remember that. Why is that? Tell the folks.
Because he's horribly transphobic. He won't refer to Dr. Levine as a she. And prior to that, about a year ago, I heard him talking about a middle school student who was non-binary, and the words that he used were so awful that I just thought if any kid questioning their sexuality or gender right now is listening, oh, well, maybe Marty is part of like the group of humans that lead to the high rate of suicide among trans students in America. So anyway, yeah, it really has bummed me out because I love his wife. I know she's a great person. I know she stands against bullies. So it just really, I'm very confused by Marty. I'm very confused by this. I'm very disappointed. I'm just really disappointed. That's the truth.
One of my old colleagues, I just found out yesterday, quit 2 months ago because she was disappointed in similar things that you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, this is... And my whole thing with... I don't understand people who care. Like, just let it go. Why do you care what somebody else is? If they're not bothering you, move on. And Dr. Rachel Levine is a hero, and she's trying to help us all, so don't misgender her. The end. Sorry. I just love Dr. Levine.
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Who was it? Some national organization was just praising Pennsylvania for doing a good job, even though 30% of the people want to lynch Tom Wolfe. 70% of the people seem not to want to. Oh, and Fetterman and Wolfe are now both pushing for legalization of marijuana. Go team!
Yeah. I'm pro the medical, but I'm even more pro recreational. I feel everyone should have a shot at it. And medical is extremely expensive, so a lot of people can't get on it when they need it, and that's just not cool.
As you know, I have a medical marijuana card. I got it not long ago.
I do know that.
It's because they had anxiety to the list. And I called up the doctor. I had to do it over the phone because of COVID. And he said, what do you got? I said, I got anxiety. He said, what are you worried about? I said, I'm worried you're not going to give me the fucking card. Boom, 10 days later in the mail.
As someone with PTSD, anxiety, and a list of other diagnoses, I'm cool too.
You're way ahead of me.
Yeah. Well, it's better than the other medicine they give you. I mean, you know
Yeah.
that. Woo! They once me on like 2 different like psychotropic drugs. I was literally a zombie. I was a zombie. Harvey.
What else are the people saying since you can see without squinting?
Blocked Marty years ago. Marty Griffin misgendered. Chelsea Manning in 2014 called her Mr. Bradley. Marty pushed our pastor to suicide in 2007
All right,
because
let's
he
not
was
go over
outing
that.
him. Oh no. Marty. Well, clearly, I guess Marty is against the LGBTQ. That's what it seems.
He would not. He would deny it, for the record.
Well, the
I'm not-
trans,
I'm-
the trans community.
He would deny that he's against them. I'm certain of that.
Well, anyway, we're very mad at Marty. Greg, love you.
Greg who?
Greg Roberts.
Oh, Greg Roberts. Yeah, he was saying he was going to watch earlier today. All right, now we'll give you the cognitive test. Repeat after me. Person. Wait till I finish.
Wait, I have to do it?
Yeah.
Oh no, I won't pass.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Do I have to point out what everything is?
No. You just have to repeat that.
Oh, I don't. Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Yeah! Ding, 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 ding.
Yes.
You are as cognitively special as Donald J. Trump.
I'm just so ADHD. I was sure
But
I
now,
didn't
what if
remember
in
it. No.
5 minutes, just I throw it at you again without repeating
Well,
it? You think
let's
you
see
can
what
do it?
happens.
All right, well,
Don't judge me, guys. I really do have ADHD.
how about the thing about Donald Trump thinking that, how much does that say about him thinking that everybody in the military is a loser or a sucker? That everybody went to Vietnam and the Gulf War and the Iraq War is a loser and a sucker because there's nothing in it for him except possible death.
The thing with that is I really wish I could get Trump in a room with my Uncle Henry, who's a retired Marine, and I'd just like to see what happens, that's all. How dare you? How dare you? These human beings sacrifice everything and then die, and you're going to judge them, you who never did Name one worthy thing Trump has done in his life. One. Worthy.
He married an immigrant and took her out of Slovenia.
We don't know. She could have come in a Wayfair package. I've heard they're doing that now. The QAnon people. Is that how you say it?
Yes, QAnon. It
QAnon.
looks like Quanon or something,
Yeah.
but you say QAnon.
It looks like a type of quinoa fake protein I buy at the store. So I'm always like, is this...
Quinoa.
Do they run the evil whatever? Anyway.
Also saying that the shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha
Was like missing a 3-foot putt.
because the police didn't handle it right, so it's the equivalent of blowing something that's easy.
See, and I would call it blatant lynching. See, isn't that interesting, Trump, how we both have different views on how that played out? It was so awful. His children were in the car. He didn't do anything. It was madness. Sorry, I get very upset.
You're watching Facebook Live, the John McIntyre Facebook Live, this first live guest in the history of Facebook Live, which is only 4 episodes old. It's the Talking Behind Your Back segment, and this is comedian and all-around groovy chick Gab Vanessa.
And if you believe that Black Lives Matter, you cannot vote for Donald Trump. If you believe Black Lives Matter, you must vote for Joe Biden. Sorry.
Now, you're the first person I've gotten to come into my apartment to do this, and I'm hoping the precedent will make other people, actually I can lure other people into my apartment. Like, could I lure Mike Vion, the former House Minority Whip, into my apartment, do you think?
But here's my question. If you bring Mike Vion in, will you then disinfect him so that if I came back the second time, I would feel safe?
So you don't want me to have anybody
Well,
else in here?
I'm just saying I want to know
thinking
who
that.
else is coming in. These are my rules.
Would you consider meeting them at the door and fumigating them?
No, I'll give you a can of disinfectant. You take care of it.
Okay, and I can just spray them down, like Lysol them down?
Yeah.
Are you still Lysoling your bananas?
I've Lysol. That's a secret. John
Please don't
said,
do
okay,
that.
I felt it was okay to use like a Lysol wipe on the outside of the banana. It made John mad. He thinks I should use soap. The end. I did Lysol tomatoes early in the whole thing because I was scared.
I would like to thank Paul and Darcy Battisti, who mailed me some holders for my reading glasses. And the card they sent said, "Dear everybody," which is a reference to a running bit about Greg Brown, the announcer, who I claim says, "Hi everybody, hey everybody, what's going on everybody?" He doesn't actually say that. Says, oh, is that them?
No, Shelley's saying don't get too close, you spit.
Oh, good point.
And Marie just wipes everything down.
All right, I'll
She's
put
with
this
me.
from, all right, just, dear everybody, just in case you'd like to be hands-free as you read the screen messages, see enclosed, sincerely, everybody. P.S. First time tuner in, Friday at 6 o'clock, thank you. So I'm not suggesting that you should all start mailing me things, and I'm not even quite sure how she got my address. But nonetheless, thank you very much. That was awfully
Oh
nice.
my gosh, I assumed you gave them your address.
No, I gave it to somebody else, not knowing that that person was going to give
Whoa.
this person the address.
That's brave.
All right, can you do the cognitive thing again?
Okay, wait a minute. Person?
Yes.
Is that right? Woman?
Right.
Man?
Yes.
Camera?
Yes.
Was there one more?
Yes. It's to your left.
TV?
Yes.
Yes. I needed a hint, though. I needed a hint.
All right, but you had it in order.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got it
I
in
just
front
didn't remember
of me. I
what the
don't know
last
how-
thing was. I just didn't remember what the last thing was. Sorry.
Do you think that means you're cognitively sound? Does that illustrate that? Does that prove that beyond the shadow
Oh,
of a doubt?
no. I once did. I went to a special event with the Scare House, and Western Psych was there, and they did a brain scan, and my brain, there was nothing cognitive in my brain. It was all irrational. I had a completely irrational brain. So I don't think I'm cognitive. I think I'm irrational.
All right, getting back to former House Minority Whip Mike Vion and his cooties. Is it satisfactory if he comes here and then I hose it down afterwards? Or
Yes. You have
oh,
to disinfect the entire place before you have another
and
guest.
what does that mean?
Means wherever he is, you just disinfect.
So spray Lysol?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
John, you and Lynn Cullen would be hysterical also.
I've worked with Lynn Cullen many, many times. She is...
She was rude to me once, and I'm not going to say what she said, but let's say it was slightly homophobic to me, and let's say she dresses like B. Arthur and probably shouldn't judge anybody's sexuality.
All right.
Hey!
Can I tell the story then?
Now
a
I don't
short-
want to go into the whole
Okay,
story.
never mind.
I was dating a fella, and she was being mean to me. And she was anti-gay marriage at the time.
Yeah.
That was again.
All right, we don't have to babble on forever. Anybody else saying anything interesting?
Um.
No, apparently not. You've ceased to be
Oh
interesting.
wait, Darcy is her sister. Shelley said Darcy is her sister. Is that who sent you the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any comments on Nancy and the salon?
Oh, Nancy in the hair salon.
Oh.
Nancy was chastised because she walked
Yeah.
into a hair salon not wearing a mask. Nancy Pelosi claims that she was told that she didn't have to wear a mask and that San Francisco and California laws allowed for this. Apparently, you're only supposed to be outside if you don't have a mask. I don't fucking know what the truth is, but I do agree with everybody who says, isn't there something more fucking important to worry about than one slip up with Nancy Pelosi's mask? Assuming it was a slip up, which I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, because honestly, John, you've told me you walked into a coffee shop without a mask.
Right, and they were like, did you forget your mask? I'm like, oh shit, and I went back and got my mask, yeah.
I like to be a mask. Gab and Cyril Wecht need to be regular guests.
Now, Cyril, I bet I could get to come to the apartment, although I don't know if he'd want to do this standing thing. But he might.
But Cyril wouldn't need you to disinfect anything since he doesn't believe in COVID, so there you have it. Oh, Dr. Wecht. I love Dr. Wecht.
Cyril's 89.
He could have been my dad. Not really. My mother just always had a crush on him.
I love Dr. Wecht because thanks to Dr. Wecht, I made an extra 30 grand last year, among other reasons.
John, you shouldn't reveal that kind of stuff.
No?
I wouldn't.
All right.
My horoscopes always say never tell people what you make.
Well, I said an
John
extra.
Dominic is waving.
I said an extra 30 grand. Well, this is after years of chronic underemployment, as you know.
We'll quit bragging.
All right. Let's hope everything opens up soon again so we can all do whatever the fuck we want to do, but I'm not counting on it anytime soon. Go.
Can I make a good announcement?
Yes.
Today in the state of Pennsylvania, we are finally getting our stimulus back in the pandemic unemployment. So
the
money
300 from the executive order?
The 300 from the executive order will be retroactive back. We will get what we lost out in August. So that was very good news.
And let's pray that Pelosi and McConnell could come to an agreement and get even more stimulus.
Let's pray I could go back on stage and work again because I really miss it.
Well, as you know, the McBrides have offered to let us use their home as a small outdoor venue.
And I really want you to think about that. Really, don't let him crossing boundaries make you do something you don't want to do, McBrides. And remember, when you invite vampires into your home, they never leave.
They offered to do it. I didn't even suggest it. They offered to do it. Naturally, I was secretly hoping they would offer to do it.
I do agree with Dan Keller. Why wouldn't she get her hair done at home? She's a freaking gazillionaire. If I was a freaking gazillionaire, I would be getting my hair done at home.
Why not just, and then you,
boom.
That's a good Dan Keller. Good for you.
And I had to, when I went to the salon once, I had to wear a mask, so.
Would any of you come to this small outdoor show with only 30 people, or you'd still be too scared to gather?
Do the McBrides want strangers? I mean, we know everybody on here.
They said we could invite whoever we wanted to, and then if nobody wanted to come because they were afraid that we had like round up their friends.
Okay, I mean, I'm in if they're in. What is this? Wait. Thanks to another great Friday. No vampires here.
Dark Shadows, I bet you would like that. It was a soap opera with vampires.
Ooh.
From the 70s.
I wonder if I can find it, like,
maybe
on
YouTube
Netflix or something. Yeah. Where's the outdoor event? That's the weird part here, Larry Hanlon. The outdoor event would be at someone's home.
A private home in McKee's Port.
McKee's Port.
Yeah.
So and they're allegedly going to let you guys come.
And they would even let you go to the bathroom, apparently. So it is really nice of them. Maybe
you
they
two need to
think about
perform at Lincoln Park sometime. That's where you perform there, right?
Lincoln Park. Where's Lincoln
The
Park?
Performing Arts Center, with you did with
oh, yes,
Dr.
yes.
Wecht.
I did. I've done a couple shows with Cyril there.
And I did.
In fact,
were you there when I was a keynote speaker for a mental health thing there?
I was trying to get Mr. Catanzarite, who runs Lincoln Park, to let me do a comedy show with Gab at the smaller venue. Well, now that's all gone to hell because nobody's doing any shows. He was flirting with the idea, and we never went anywhere. But
multiple people were saying they would do it. A few people said they could come and still social distance as long as they could.
We would insist that they social distance. Yeah.
And then and Denise McConnell says any reason to visit the McBrides is a good one, and I agree.
Well, I see the McBrides apparently throw legendary parties all the time. I hope this is okay that we're saying this. I think it is.
Will Mr. McBride be Mr. McBride that night or Benjamin Franklin?
He dresses up like Benjamin Franklin and runs around the neighborhood. No, he actually does professional shows.
Yeah, so I don't know who would be there. Only on your phone, David D'Angelo. Oh, David, it was freezing. And Maria's like, David.
Yeah.
Those two, they're like two political junkies.
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
I don't know.
Is that a good place to end, do you think?
I guess so. Final thoughts? Wait, wish you were at Oakmont, South Hills.
Wish we were at the Oakmont, not the Oakmont Bakery, of course.
Oh, wish you didn't go to the Oakmont South Hills. I moved to the South Hills. If anyone knows of venues in Beachview, I was looking at like the Dormont Museum, potentially. I don't know. You should interview Ben Franklin. I agree, you should.
Actually.
As Ben Franklin.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be good. Now, would it be okay with you if I put Ben Franklin here? I don't know if
well, yes, they're inviting us to their home, and I already know Don McBride has been tested and all that, and blah, blah, blah. Not that you couldn't get it. Hey, neighbor. Darren, I never see you. I take a 5-mile walk every day. Where are you? Do you walk through that cemetery? Because I do.
You're watching Facebook Live. We have discussed Donald Trump, Wendy Bell, a possible live outdoor comedy show that we may do in the not too distant future, Gab's level of insanity, my level of insanity.
And that Trump and Wendy aren't insane, they're evil.
Woman, man, TV.
I got it wrong. It's person, woman, man, camera, TV, so I'm not up to your cognitive...
And he had the list.
Right, but I didn't look at it that time, and then I couldn't freaking think of it.
Darren says we could perform at the Hollywood in Dormont. He did about a month ago.
I used to call... Wait a minute. I used to call the Hollywood in Dormont like once a month, and they said, we're still not ready, and then they changed management, blah, 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 blah. You did a month ago? But that's an indoor thing. Was there like 25 people there? Because aren't indoor things restricted to 25 people still? Not that we're planning on much more than 25 people, but... All right, I guess I can instant message Darren later. What?
Well, someone say they're in, the social distance neighbors are a quarter mile away, and then Darren said that cemetery used to be overgrown and creepy. Now it's still creepy. There's a guy who looks like Buffalo Bill and Francis Dollarhide as an amalgam of both serial killers, and he lurks in the cemetery. Or I'm hallucinating that. But either way, it's very...
This is the cemetery Gab takes her exercise walks in, for those who do not
I walk like this.
follow.
Yeah. Sarah Sachs said she could interview the real Ben Franklin. You should do that while he interviews.
Sarah Sachs is a psychic.
She's a medium.
A medium.
She's my hero.
She's a maximum.
She's a medium at large.
She's a max, yes.
All right, everyone's saying goodbye to us.
All right, thank you very much,
Thanks
Facebook
for having
Live.
me.
Thank you, Gab, for coming for our first Talking Behind Your Back segment. I'm John McIntyre. Lord willing, the quick don't rise, as Uncle Dougie used to say. We'll see you back here next week.